United News show. I've got some quotes from the fallout from the game yesterday against Manchester City, as well as some exciting news on the women's front. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, um, first of all, we are 31 points in 31 games, which is not good. And Dorgu had the most touches in the opposition box. Quick stats for you. Ruben says, "You have no idea what happened during these months in charge, but I accept that. I am not going to change. When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man." He also said, "We talk about that every day that we lose. I believe in my way, and I am going to play my way until I want to change." Those are quotes from Ruben Amram. Now, as you know, I am Amram out. The reason why I'm Amram out is because I haven't seen the flexibility that a good manager possesses. He's too rigid in his system. I mean, look at his quotes, his own words. He's saying, "I'm going to die trying enforcing my system," essentially, right? I think that's never good for a manager. I think a good manager will have an idea of a system that he or she wants to play, but they also see the players they've got in front of them, and they will work with those players to get the best out of them. Because at the end of the day, this is a results oriented business. We need to be winning, right? I don't care about the system so much. We need to be winning. I'd rather win with old school long ball, run and gun, as opposed to trying to uh, play this certain kind of system that just isn't really working for our players at the moment, right? So that's why I'm Eminem out. Um, and look, I mean, I've been Eminem out since the Grimsby game. I said it before the Grimsby game. I said if we have a poor showing at Grimsby or if we lose, right, then I'm Eminem out. And that's what happened. And I've stuck by that. I have not wavered or waffled on that. So I am in that camp. I would love to be proven wrong because at the end of the day, if he turns it around, that is good for Manchester United and that is good for me and all of you fans out there. But I don't think he's the guy to turn it around because he is not flexible. Um, Look, and here, but even when people say it's the players, right, and it's not Amram, okay, fine, but he still needs to manage the players, to get the best, out of them, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of over this whole like it's the players kind of thing, right? Like everyone seems to be expecting that we have it's a world-class squad, and I'm like, I don't know any team that actually has world-class talent from top to bottom, right? I mean, you've got your world-class stars in there, and then you got a lot of good role players to interlink those world-class stars, right? Like it's not like you've got an entirely world-class goalkeeper and back line and midfield and forward and coach and then subs and all that stuff, right? That doesn't happen. It doesn't work. I'm pretty sure, a team called Real Madrid tried that and they didn't have the success they thought they would, right? I'm sure you've all heard of Real Madrid. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Galacticos, right? So anyway, more quick quotes, and again, this is gonna be a short show today, so that's why I'm kind of hitting the bullets and getting out of here. Micah Richards, he was interviewed, I think it was Sky Sports or whatever. He's part of the panel there. He said it well. I know people laugh at Micah Richards because he, likes to joke and have a good laugh, and he's fun and whatnot. But don't forget, the guy played for Manchester City. He played top level football. He is a professional, a former professional, so he knows what he's talking about. And to me, he said it well. He said, when the game opens up is when we fall apart, we being United, right? And I'm paraphrasing a bit. When it's tight, it actually kind of favors United, right? Because we've got a lot of attacking talent. We've got talented players, hence my point earlier. We've got talented players. I don't think it's the players. I think it's the system we're trying to force them into. He said that we need more legs in the midfield. Okay, sure. I am on board with that. I agree with that. We need mids that track the runners, right? So basically, to kind of add on to what I'm paraphrasing to what Michael Richards said, we need midfielders with actual midfielder instincts, right? I mean, if you've ever played pickup football, whatever, with your buddies, right? Let's say usually you're a striker or a defender and everyone's tired, but you still got legs, so you go in the midfield, right? There's still a bit of awareness you need to have. You need to track your runners back and then you need to get forward. You need to get about the pitch, right? If you can't do that, you can't be in the midfield unless you're going to sit and hold, and you've got another midfielder who is going to push forward on your behalf, right? So if you're going to be box to box, like you got to have legs, you got to have awareness. Bruno doesn't have, to me, the legs or the awareness. He's not that fast, right? And he doesn't have the defensive awareness to be a box to box midfielder, right? People talk about Kobe Manu. Again, I still think Kobe Manu lacks the pace to be a proper center mid. I think he can be a cam if you want to kind of wedge him into the midfield in that role, right? But basically 10, right? So I think Manu is a 10. I think we are chock full of 10s in this team, and it's going to be a real battle as far as who stays and who goes. Um, but we absolutely need a midfielder, and a midfielder with legs, like a Conte kind of person or a Caicedo kind of person. But even with that, I still worry because we just, like they say, when the game gets stretched, we just get so far apart from each other that I feel like every time our player gets the ball, they are just on an island. They are just isolated. So I feel like even if you had, prime Conte or Caicedo or, Roger before his injury, I mean, even Busquets, like, I mean, I don't know that they would survive in this midfielder with this system. I don't think so. But if you disagree, please get in the comments and let me know. Um, but yeah, also Micah Richards, again paraphrasing here, he said the back line is not pushing up to secure the runners that the midfielders are letting run through, right? I mean, you saw time after time there were gaps between our defenders and our midfield. There were gaps all over the pitch, players isolated. I mean, we were ripe for the picking, right? Now, all that to say, there definitely were times where we played some decent football. We had chances, right? And if you look at the ending stats, we had more possession than City. I'll say that again. We had more possession than Manchester City, right? I should add an explosion effect for that one. I mean, mind-boggling. Never thought I'd say that in my, lifetime being a fan, or I guess as long as Pep is the manager at Manchester City, I should say it that way. But yes, we outpossessed them. I think part of that came when we put on Casemiro, we put on Xerxes and Menu. So credit to them for that. But obviously it didn't yield any results. And again, like I said in my post-match discussion, I just feel like when City attacks, when they counterattack, it's almost like you know where the ball is going to go. Everyone knows where it's going to go, and everyone acts accordingly. And they're just an efficient machine. I feel like when we counterattack, it's kind of run and hope, right? We run and we hope, and I feel like half the time our players pick the wrong pass, right? When we're breaking on a counterattack and you've got the wingers or the wing backs or whoever's out wide, kind of, peeling off the defenders and making that curving run. I feel like we tend to pass the ball to the guy who has less space between him and the defender than the other guy. And I don't know why we do that. I don't know if it's just like, again, maybe it's a player thing. Maybe it is a player thing. Or maybe it's that Amram needs to coach that into them because, I mean, they are competent professionals, right? They've made it this far. I think if you, as a manager, tells them, hey, look, read the back line and pass it to the guy who has more space, I would think they could do that and they would understand that. I would think so, getting paid what they're getting paid week in and week out. I mean, you and I can understand that and do that, right? Without someone telling us. So I would think that they could do that. Maybe they're not being told, or maybe they're being told something different. I don't know. But that's where we are with it. Um, I mean, look, I don't want to harp on it too much more because I mean, this fallout, right, from the fans, and some people are saying, oh, if you're saying Amram out, you're stupid. If you're saying Amram in, you're stupid. And like, I don't get into all that toxic stuff saying that you're stupid because you think what you think. That's ridiculous, right? I just think Amram out, and that's what I am sticking with. Feel free to get in the comments and tell me otherwise. But obviously keep it civil, right? Let's not name call. Let's not get toxic like other communities because we don't need that. So anyway, what else I want to jump to here? Looking ahead, we've got Chelsea in the 20th. They're fifth in the table. They had a slip up over the weekend. Garnacho, Garnacho let his man run through, and so Chelsea got scored on. So yeah, they are fifth in the table. That's on the 20th. I will be doing a match preview on the 19th for that match. And then on the 20th of the match, I will be doing a live halftime show and a post-match discussion. So please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss that. So you get to come and have your say. After Chelsea, we've got Brentford on the 27th. They are currently 12th in the table. And we've got Sunderland on the 4th of October. They are 7th in the table. So Sunderland they're not doing too bad actually. Recently promoted. Um, no news yet on the Cunha, Mount, Dallo injuries. So not sure when they'll be back. I believe Lisandro Martinez is back Octoberish, I think early Octoberish is what I'm hearing. So we'll have him back. I asked a question before and I'll ask it here again. Do you think that Lisandro Martinez could at least be a competent stopgap in the midfield, right? Do you think that he could play next to Bruno and just sit a bit more? I think he could. I think he could. I mean, I'm not in training. I would like to see how he's moving post ACL injury because people never quite come back the same. So I'd like to see how he's moving about the pitch. But if he's still getting about, I would like to see him maybe tried in a holding midfield role. That way, Bruno gets to push further forward. Because I mean, Lisandro Licha, he is technically competent. He's good on the ball. He's quick. He's aggressive. And he knows how to have that calm playing closer to the back line or in the back line, right? Like he has that calm that you need as a defender. Remember earlier when I was talking about midfielder awareness, where there's also that defender calm, right? Where it's like, okay, people are pressing you and they're, you know, coming at you, running at you hard, like snot flying, eyes red, like a bull coming at you. And there's still that kind of like that calm from the defender, right? And they just play that pass, relieve that pressure, and out we are, right? So I'd like to try him in that role and see what happens. Hopefully Emram's thinking that. If he doesn't just try it again. Like why not? Why not? Like we need answers in the midfield. We need something, right? Um. Anyway, women's team very quickly. So the women smashed London City 5-1 at the weekend. It was a beautiful match to watch. Leticia scored. Riviere hit an absolute stunner. Mallard had 2 goals. I don't know how many goals that is for her now in these games. And Jess Park, our new addition, rounded us out with the 5th goal. Again, absolutely smashed London City. Um, when do we play Chelsea on the women's side? Because that'll be our real test. Chelsea and Arsenal. The City women are kind of meh right now, right? But Chelsea and Arsenal, if we get past them, I say we might win the league. I'm calling it now for the women's WSL. Manchester United women's will be champions if we get past and beat. I say get past, I mean beat Chelsea and Arsenal. Anyway, they are top of the table right now. So, you know, I put a tweet out. I was like, hey guys, men's team, this is what Manchester United is about. Top of the table, scoring goals for fun, and we're all celebrating, right? So anyway, the women on Thursday, they host Brann, who they lost to 1-0 in Norway in the first of a 2-leg playoff to get into the league phase of the UEFA Women's Champions League. So even in that loss to Brann, the women looked really good. They looked really good. So I really think that we're going to overturn that. And I think that we will march into the Women's Champions League with, high flying colors. And, I think we're going to do some damage this year. I really think we're going to do some damage this year if injuries don't get us, right? Knock on wood, injuries don't get us. Because, I mean, watching the women's team, it is some good football. Anyway, I'll leave it there. A few quick reminders before you go. Uh, Match preview on September 19th for the Chelsea match, live halftime show for the Chelsea match, and post-match discussion for the Chelsea match. Of course, as always, daily news here from Brian Martin, yours truly. And yeah, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.